Hey everybody, welcome back to the Meant to Watches YouTube channel. We thought it'd be cool to pick out 5 of our favorite celebrity vintage watches to discuss in a little bit. The first watch on our list is the one that was texted to us by our friend, Mr. Ed Sheeran himself, wearing a vintage Rolex Daytona. But it's not just any vintage Rolex Daytona, it is a reference 6263 with a Paul Newman dial. The reference 6263 is very well known because it has a black Bakelite bezel and screw-down pushers very similar to the reference 116500 LN that was produced by Rolex recently. The reference 6263 Paul Newman, though, is one of the rarest Paul Newmans in existence. It is considered the holy grail of vintage Daytona collecting, a personal favorite of mine as it has a 2-color dial, just black and white, as opposed to the traditional Paul Newman that has a black, white, and red dial, as you see on a 6239, the one that Mr. Paul Newman himself wore. The estimated value of this watch can range anywhere from $400,000 to $750,000, depending on condition and which execution dial it is between Mark I through Mark III. We applaud Ed Sheeran for his choice in wristwatch because it's absolutely one of our personal favorites and it looks like a fantastic example. Next on our list is a watch that made the news and made the rounds. It really shook up the watch world by storm a couple months ago. Is Jay-Z himself's reference 2499. But again, it's not any reference 2499, it is a reference 2499/101J. So what does that mean? The /101 signifies a watch that was produced by Patek with an integrated gold bracelet. Now, while integrated gold bracelets are not everyone's taste, as you can't change it and you have to wear it on whatever bracelet the watch is produced on, the /101J was produced in an estimated quantity of 4 pieces, and this is the very first one to come to market in a very, very long time. It's a very, very special watch. The reference 2499 is a perpetual calendar chronograph produced by Patek. While not the first serialized produced watch by them, that was a reference 1518. The 2499 is considered the holy grail of Patek collecting, as it's a little bit larger than the 1518 and is one of the most iconic and desirable wristwatches of all time, and it's in no better hands than Jay-Z himself. The next watch that I saw recently being worn by celebrity that's a personal favorite of mine was Mr. Kevin Hart wearing a reference 25829TA. So this is a jumbo royal oak with a skeletonized perpetual calendar functionality, and the TA at the end of that reference stands for the metals being tantalum and yellow gold. Over the years, Audemars Piguet has produced a variety of jumbo royal oak perpetual calendars in a variety of different case metals, skeleton dial, non-skeleton dial. The skeletonized with mixed metals are some of the rarest produced, with production numbers either being around 5 to 25, depending on which reference and variety it is. I believe the 25829TA was produced in around 25 pieces. It is incredibly difficult to find and incredibly beautiful. It is one of our personal favorite watches, and in my own personal collection, I have a perpetual calendar with a Tuscan dial. Not quite as cool as Kevin Hart's, but one day a boy can dream. The next watch on our list, well, I should say 2 watches that we saw recently that piqued our attention, was from the singer The Weeknd. While not as crazy rare or as valuable as a few of the other watches we just discussed, I applaud The Weeknd for his ability to wear stuff that's outside the box and not everybody really understands or knows it. It's not the most popular, although it's becoming very popular in collecting circles. To the general public, they might not really understand why these watches are so significant. We've seen The Weeknd wear 2 black onyx styled watches, one a reference 16018, which is a yellow gold date just, and the other being a King Midas on a leather strap. Now again, these watches are very popular in collecting circles, especially the fact that they're onyx dials with the recent surgence in popularity in stone dials. The general public doesn't really understand those watches. It's not a Nautilus, it's not a Royal Oak, it's not a Daytona. It just looks like some ordinary black dial Rolex watch. But we know as collectors and aficionados that these are very special watches and very rare and hard to come by, especially in good condition. So we really give a lot of kudos and props to The Weeknd for choosing these watches to wear in his collection. And last but not least, we just have to make a quick mention to the king of celebrity vintage collecting himself, Mr. John Mayer. Mr. Mayer's vintage collecting is well known to the general public, well known to watch lovers and collectors everywhere. He's very well known to the collecting world with lots of vintage Rolex in his collection, such as military submariners, or mil subs if you will, reference 5517, lots of Comex style submariners, as well as a plethora of very rare Paul Newman Daytonas, Omani Kanjar logo Daytonas, and anything you can think of that's really truly special and unique. John Mayer singles it out and purchases it for his collection. He's been doing this for years, and he has one of the most drool-worthy collections that we know of in the celebrity sphere. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you think there's any other celebrities that deserve to be on this list or any other honorable mentions that you found interesting, please comment below and maybe we'll include it in a future video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.